Good, y'all, Demoralized here, and today I want to explain why I feel like the 3-valve Mustangs are the best entry-level Mustangs. If you never been in a Mustang, never owned a Mustang, you just want to get, just want to have the title of saying I own a Mustang, I feel like the 3-valve is the perfect platform for you, and let me explain why. All right, first let's talk about the body of the car. My car is basically stock wheels, stock front bumper, headlights, hood. The only real cosmetic mods I have are on the back, and we'll get to that once we work our way front to back. So we have the basic front bumper, but it has that aggressive styling to it. The hood, the body lines of the hood you have right there, and just the whole like shapes and curves of the car is why I chose this body style over going, the newer 3.7 or S550. I just was super attracted to the body style of the 3-valves. As we come along the side, you have stock wheels. I think these are like 17-inch wheels. And then I blacked out the GT badge, so you can't really notice that there. But these cars didn't come with like a blackout package like how the new S550s and I think even the S197 5.0s might have came with it. But I wish these cars definitely came with that. But these wheels are stock. They're not the best looking, but they're not that bad if you paint them. I painted my old ones and they did look a little bit more aggressive, so that's always an option there. As we work to the back of the car, this is where I feel like you can have the most fun with the rear end of the car. So let me start with the basic GT500 spoiler I got. This was an eBay spoiler, believe it or not. Same quality as the American Muscle one that they sell for like $200. I don't know why you would want to pay that price. I guess because maybe you want the satisfaction of knowing it's coming from a good brand. But mine's eBay, same quality, came painted, $60. And then I have this wicker bill. God damn, they're mowing the lawn, so sorry if you hear that. I have the wicker bill here. That was, I believe, $140. Got it off of Instagram from Brandon Polar. Makes some very custom, super cool products. Then we have the S550 style badging. Sorry if the sun's like making it hard to see, but I have that S550 style badging on the back. The cool thing about these cars, unlike the S550 where you have to remove the deck lid to do all that work, you can just remove the back badging with a heat gun or something and then slap that guy right on. If you want, there are 2 holes that you could fill from where the original badging sits. So once you remove that, you can always fill holes if you want to do that. I just placed mine perfectly over it so you can't really tell. Then, the exhaust tips, there's nothing too special about that. I have just the standard pipe bomb, they're just a direct replacement. So that's about it for the outside of the car. I wish I had more done to it. That way, I could show you the full customization and possibilities to do with the exterior of the car. I'm ordering my wheels next. They're on back order, so once those are in, I'll do a nice little review of those. All right, moving on to the inside of the car. My interior isn't the cleanest because this car I bought for $6,000 and the previous owner was a dad, so his car did get torn up a little bit from the kids climbing around it. So surprisingly, only the driver's seat they tore up. But yeah, let's get into it. So apparently these are like the S197 5.0 GT floor mats. I did not know that. That's what I was informed, because you can tell by there's 2 holes here, and on this year there's only 1 clip to hold the mat in. So apparently these are for the newer S197s, which is pretty cool. So starting with, I guess we'll start with the center console. This is a dual head unit. It's a touchscreen. I don't have the key in the car, so it's not gonna be on right now. But these are pretty simple to install and replace. This came on the car when I got it. Normally it's either the Shaker 500 or Shaker 1000 system in here, I believe, that comes with these cars. On my white car I had the 500, and it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was a good system, but I just wanted to have Bluetooth because I think, and they didn't start Bluetooth till 2008, I believe, or something like that. Mine's a 2006, so it didn't come with that. So yeah, we have that. Then you have your heat gate, heat, AC, all that's good. Blows out super cold AC. One time, like, my vents were starting to like fog up because of how cold they got. Not all of them come with a little Corvette in here, but mine came with a fucking Corvette. The interior is pretty spacious, I'm not gonna lie. The rear seats, I have my gym bag and stuff back there, but I mean the rear seats are comfortable. I mean, I've sat back there, I'm 6 foot, about 200 pounds, so I mean I'm pretty comfortable back there. And you know, you could probably squeeze 3 people back there in reality. The seats obviously aren't going to be as comfortable as the newer. I don't want to show my ugly seat, but these seats obviously aren't going to be as comfortable as these new S550, you know, with the Recaros and, you know, the cloth seats or even their leather seats. But the cool thing about these cars is they're super interchangeable. So what I've learned is the S550 style seats, the rear seats at least, will fit in the back, and the newer S197 seats will fit in here. So I'm gonna do an interior swap like that. So that's why another reason these cars are pretty cool, because you can basically modernize them by swapping the newer car parts into these, and you basically have, you know, the interior of a 13, 14, 50 or 11 through 12. Whichever one you do. I think they're the same seats pretty much, and then you can do the rear seats of a S550. And you know, coming to the heart of the vehicle, it is a little dirty because this Georgia pond is no joke right now. I don't have allergies, but I think I'm starting to develop something because, man, I go out and I start choking up and sneezing now. But this is the heart of the 3-valve, the 4.6 liter. Super spacious to work with, honestly. Like, you can get your hand in between a lot of things in here. I mean, I do have, I would say, like, pretty decent long hands, I guess. And I mean, I can reach in there and get to a lot of things. So the engine is super accessible. Like, I changed the coil packs on here, super easy install. They're just right here. And you know, I had no problem reaching any of them. Did the JLT intake. You know, an intake is not that hard to do, to begin with, but I mean, everything is super accessible. Like, you know, you got your injectors, the fuel rails, all that right there. Everything is super easy to reach and unbolt, and you know, do what you got to do. The only thing that I've heard that is hard is the headers. By me, I'm looking at them and I can like see all the bolts from here, so maybe it's just the passenger side that's really easy. But I mean, from videos I've seen, people were like, you gotta, you know, adjust the motor mounts and all that. But I mean, other than that, like, everything else is pretty straightforward. Like, you see the underdrive pulleys, all that. So the engine is super accessible. If you ever do want to, you know, mod it, why would you get a Mustang if you're not going to mod it, first of all? But if you do ever like just want to do like simple things here, you won't have to worry about, you know, room or anything like that. Because, you know, people are slapping Coyotes in here now, and I mean, the Coyote's a much bigger engine. I was hanging out with Monty S550 yesterday. He has a Gen 3, and let me tell you, the amount of wiring and all that stuff that was in there, it's just a bunch to look at, while this is a super straightforward and very clean engine bay. All right, last thing I want to add onto this list is, obviously, if you're buying a Mustang, you got to make sure people know they can hear you. So the exhaust note on these cars are my favorite of all the Mustangs. Probably next to the GT350 is the next exhaust note that I like compared to these. And my exhaust setup is pipe bomb axlebacks, off-road H pipe. I'm probably gonna do headers later down the line once I do cams. But the exhaust note on these cars is nasty. My car is a little warm right now, so it's not gonna sound as loud as a cold start would, but it's still gonna sound pretty rowdy. Alright, before I end this video, the last thing I want to throw on this list, besides exhaust, I low-key forgot about this one, is the price. I feel like this is the biggest thing right now. I paid $6,000 for my car. Yeah, it was a higher mileage vehicle, but these motors are known to last. Due to Corona, I have seen the prices go up a little bit, but normally you can find them really cheap, between like 7, 8. Lower mileage ones like 50, 60,000 you might see for the price of like 11 or 12,000. But at that point, you might as well just hop into the Coyote or, you know, the 3.7 V6. But I mean, for the price, that's why I also feel like these are a good entry-level car, because it's not going to break the bank, and mods are pretty cheap for this. Like, my whole setup, exhaust setup, was maybe the pipe bombs came on the car, and I think those are like $300. The mid pipe was like $200, so in total about $500 for the exhaust setup. The tune was another $600 because it came with the intake. So $1,100 for, you know, exhaust, intake, tune. That's not that bad. But thank you guys for tuning in to today's video. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.